Hey guys, so today what we're going to be working on is continuing working on adding mixed numbers. Today we're going to push our understanding of it a little bit further to knowing what to do when we add the fraction part of the mixed number and we end up with getting something that is an improper fraction as the fraction part. So I'm going to show you what I mean in just a little bit, but to start, we are going to just look at this example here. So we've got 3 1/3 plus 4 1/3. And remember, when we're adding two mixed numbers, the first thing we're always going to want to do is we're going to just add our fractions together. So we can see we've got 1/3 right here, and we've got 1/3 right here. And so if we combined those, that would be a total of, I'm just going to make a new circle. That would make a total of 2/3. So I'm just going to add a little bit more highlighted down here on this circle. I'm going to highlight another spot, and I'm just showing that we are adding those together. All right, so now we have 2/3 as our fraction, right? So we've got 2/3 as our fraction, which is fine because 2/3 is not an improper fraction. It's just a regular fraction, so that's going to be fine to leave as our answer. And then we add our wholes together, which we can see we've got 1, 2, 3 wholes, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 wholes. And we're wanting to add all of those together. So obviously if we have 3 plus 4, and you'll notice these circles are all filled in because these are wholes, then we have 7 wholes total. So we have 7 wholes, which I can just move. I'm just going to, instead of making new ones, I'm just going to drag them down here to kind of show that we know, it's kind of getting messed up. But anyway, you can see that like we have 7 total wholes, and we have 2/3 total for our fraction. So our final answer would just be 7 and, I'm going to erase it right here, 7 2/3 would be our final answer to this problem. So hopefully that's going to help you kind of visualize what we're doing as we move on to our next couple problems, which are going to be a little trickier. All right, so if we look here, we're going to be adding 1 1/2. So I'm going to highlight one whole to show this 1. And then I'm going to highlight just half of this other circle to show that I have another half. So I've got 1 1/2 plus 1 1/2 over here. So remember, we're always going to add our fractions first. So we're going to look at the fraction parts of our mixed numbers, which are going to be 1/2 and 1/2. And if we look at the 1/2 from right here and the 1/2 from right here, you can see that if you did 2 of those, they would be the same as 1 extra whole, right? If you combined those 2, they would be the same as another whole circle. So those 1/2s are actually going to combine to be their 2 halves, which are the same as 1 whole, right? So we're just going to leave that there for now. And now we're going to add our whole numbers together. So now we're going to go to I'm going to change my color here. We're going to go to 1 and 1, because those are our wholes, because that's what we need to add next. And we're going to add those together. Well, 1 plus 1, these are our 1 wholes right here. 1 whole plus another 1 whole is just 2. So we've got 2 wholes from our original whole numbers, and then we have another 1 whole from our 2 fractions that combined up here. And so we're going to have a total of 2 plus 1, which is going to equal 3. So our answer to this problem would be 3, okay? All right, so for this next problem, I'm going to be adding 2 1/4 plus 1 3/4. So I'm going to get my highlighter and I'm going to highlight all of these two circles because these are each a hole. So we've got our two holes there. And then I'm going to highlight one of our little 1/4 pieces right there. And then over here, I'm going to highlight one hole from that one. And then I'm going to highlight the 3 1/4 pieces. Okay, so when we're combining these, we're going to first look at how we would combine our fractions. So we're combining our 1/4, which is right here, with our 3/4, which is right here. We're going to combine those together. And you can see that if we have 3 1/4 pieces combined with an extra 1 1/4 piece, that's going to be a total of 4 1/4 pieces, which is the same as an extra whole, right? So that those two fractions added together are going to give us an extra whole. All right, so let's leave that aside for now. And then we're going to add our original wholes. So we've got our 1 right here, our 2 holes right here. We're going to add those guys together, and that's going to give us 3. So we've got our 3 holes plus our 1 that we got from the fractions that we combined, and that's going to give us a total of 3 plus 1, which equals 4. All right, so I want to look at one without the help of the circles, and because this is how it's going to look on your problem set, is it's not going to give you those pictures to help. It's going to just show you the numbers, and you're going to be expected to add them together. So if we have 1 4/5 plus 2 1/5, first thing we're going to do, still the same, is we're going to add our fractions. So we're going to add 4/5 plus 1/5. So if you can kind of picture us, we've got 4 1/5 pieces, and then we've got another 1 1/5 piece. So if we combine those together, 4/5 plus 1/5 is going to equal what? 4/5 plus 1/5 is going to equal 5/5. And we know that when the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator of a fraction are the same like this, that is the same as one whole, right? So we know that, again, on this problem, the fractions have added together to give us one whole, okay? And then we're going to look at our whole numbers, 1 and 2. Combine those together. 1 plus 2 is 3. So now we're going to once again get an answer of 3 from our whole numbers plus the 1 whole that we got from combining our fractions equals 4. Easy peasy. All right, so let's look at one that's got a little bit bigger numbers to deal with. So we've got 1 5/7 plus 3 2/7. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to combine our fractions. So we're going to add our fractions together. We're going to take our 5/7 and we're going to add it to 2/7. So 5/7 plus 2/7 is going to give us, of course, 7/7, because 5 plus 2 is 7, and we always leave the denominator the same. And then our whole numbers, 1 and 3, are going to add together to give us 4. So we've got 4 plus 7/7, which we know is really 1, right? So 4 plus 1 equals 5. So our answer to this one would be 5. So there's one other kind of problem that's on the problem set that I wanted to point out to you guys. Some of the problems are like this. They say like 3 plus 1 2/3 or something like this. So when you see a problem like this where it has the whole number and then it has a mixed number, you still are going to treat it the same way, but you'll just notice like the whole number 3 doesn't have any fraction right here on the side. So you're still going to start with your fraction, which is just going to be 2/3, and it's going to stay 2/3 because you're not adding it to anything here. So it's just going to be 2/3, and then you add your whole numbers, and that's going to give you 3 plus 1 is 4. So your final answer there would just be 4 2/3, okay? You don't have to do anything fancy. Just add them together, and keep in mind that there's no fractions here, So you're just keeping the fraction part of the mixed number the same.